They're finally coming into range. Man, he's close. The buck of your dreams finally stands up. You make ready. Your heart is racing. Can you make the shot? Or are you gonna fold like a cheap lounge chair? Hello guys, hopefully you're all doing well. Got another video for you. This video I want to go over managing buck fever, that crunch time, that fear of failure. You know, you got the animal coming in, you don't want to miss that shot that you worked so hard to get, or maybe in competition you got the competition jitters, or you know, you just don't compete to the level that you practice at. I'm guilty of this, and hopefully in this video maybe I can share with you some of my own experience with that. Maybe some tips and some techniques that you guys can work on, and you know, maybe hopefully just kind of increase your level of accuracy when the moment of truth arises. But anyway, before I get into the video, I just want to let you guys know, like, I want to remove all the ego. We check the ego at the door when you want to look at these videos, and I can only share my videos from my own experience and from my own proficiency level. Certainly, you know, look around and definitely find people that have credibility, that have, you know, done things in their lives, that have played at a high level or whatever that is. I'm sure there's a lot of pros out there you can find. You know, my own experience is at a high level competition would have just been college rifle. I did pretty well there. You guys can look up my history there, but in archery I'm just a bow hunter. I'm mostly self-taught, and I'm kind of getting into the target archery just to be a better bow hunter. And you know, even through all that experience and to what it is today, I still screw up. I still miss shots of a lifetime. I still sometimes get the jitters, sometimes get that feeling of pressure or anxiety. And I just want, you know, if you guys are a beginner or whatever and you're watching this video and trying to get, you know, some good information on how to fix it, hey, I haven't fixed it completely myself either. This is totally normal, and this is something that I feel like, you know, if you don't get these feelings of anxiety or a little bit of fear or some excitement or whatever it is, maybe, you know, it's not fun anymore. So, you know, maybe we're never ever going to get rid of these feelings, and these are just things we're just going to have to work through our own experiences and learning new techniques how to do it. So I'm just going to share a few little philosophy around it, and then some techniques that maybe you guys can work on that have worked for me, and that maybe you guys can apply that in your guys' hunting or archery or even rifle shooting as well. So the number one, simple one, makes the most common sense, is to remove doubt. And you know, a lot of these bad or negative thoughts creep into your mind. You know, the animal's close. Oh, what if I miss? Or you get in a competition, everybody's watching you. Oh, what if I miss in front of everybody? And you know, I can just easily say remove doubt, but one of the easiest ways to remove doubt is to have confidence in what you're doing. And how do you gain confidence in what you're doing? Well, you got to build your competency. The simplest way to do that is build your ability. Just be a better shooter. Shoot better at home. Practice a lot. Just get really good to the point where you know you are capable of shooting good enough to play at the level that, you know, whatever you want to play at, or good enough to make the shots that you're going to make in the field. Now, first, you know, I'm only saying this because I think some people can fall into the trap of kidding themselves, maybe. This may sound a little harsh, but, you know, we got to be real here. You got to possess the ability first before you can even think about the mental aspect or the pressure aspect of it. So if you're incapable of making the kind of shots that you're missing in the field or that you're missing in competition, well, no amount of mental training is going to help you make those shots. You have to get physical ability and get as proficient as you can first. So definitely, first off, you know, get as proficient as you can. Learn all you can about your equipment, all you can about your shooting, you know, your technique in shooting. And through that, building that ability, hopefully you have a lot of confidence going in to the situation. Okay, number two, is experience. So say you have the ability, you can shoot very well, shooting at home in the target's all good, shooting at maybe in the field or whatever at your targets and you're shooting just fine. Now you just need experience in the moment of truth. You need more opportunities in front of game, maybe at a competition or things like that, those moments that give you pressure. Just get more and more experience, and hopefully you find the things that how you're affected by it. Some people, it's physical, like their shoulders get tight, they begin to shake, the palms get sweaty, the breathing becomes shallow, things like that. There's nothing I could tell you in a video that'll give you the experience that you need to conquer some of these things or learn it for yourself, and everybody is different. So number two, get as much experience as you can. Hunt as much as you can. Get as many shots on game as you can and gain that experience. If it's competition, go to compete. If you're a hunter and you're kind of that guy that says, well, you don't get a whole lot of chances to go hunting, really, or maybe you got seasons, tags, or work, or your budget or whatever it is. Well, maybe look at competitive archery or competitive shooting rifle, whatever it is. In all my years of hunting or bow hunting, about the closest thing I can say that is not hunting that gives me the experience for hunting has been literally competing, like having to get up on stage or in front of a group of people and perform. And with all the eyes watching, there's pressure. You don't want to screw up, and that's not much different than when you're out in the field and you got the animal within your effective bow range, and you don't want to screw it up. It's the same thing. So put yourself in a lot of experiences and then see how your body reacts over time. And again, it's the cliche thing, there's no better teacher than experience really there. And one more thing I want to add, it's kind of for the beginner. Sometimes people can want to look for quick success and go to things pretty quick. I just want to go get that big ram or go get that big buck already. I would say, if you don't have a whole lot of experience in a pressure situation, you may spend a lot of money or resources to get that opportunity and miss it just because you don't have that experience. So really spend some time and just get out there, get as much experience as you can in pressure situations and see how it is. Or you can maybe play games at home with your friends, bet a little bit, put something on the line, those kinds of things, and just see how you react. And you literally gotta practice this and just go out there, crash and burn, come back to the drawing board and figure it out all over again. Okay, and a little attachment to experience is finding maybe a mentor, finding somebody that has done some things in their lives, has real credibility in handling pressure situations, or is very at a high ability level that's higher than yours. Talk with those people, confer with those people, and they may shorten your learning curve because they had to learn at some point too. And how they learned, or maybe how they explain it, might be a faster way for you guys to learn. And a huge word of caution with that, this is the internet, this is YouTube that you're watching this on, or maybe Instagram or wherever I posted this. There's a lot of internet experts or whatever there is. So definitely, do your homework on the people that you're watching and the content that you're consuming, and make sure it's credible and worth your time. You can spend a lot of time waste literally just looking at people that maybe not such credible or good information out there. So just beware on your time with that. Number 3 is commitment. Everybody can talk a big story about how I got to work on this, how I got to work on that, but few people truly make the commitment to get better, to really seek out people who are better than them, to kind of check their ego at the door and walk in with an open mind and try to take things in. Easy for me to say on camera, but literally, I struggle with this as well. I'm no different. I find like a quick fix or something and I want to hurry up and get to quick results. Well, if you don't commit the time and the energy and the learning energy into it, the results you're going to get are probably going to be the same. Unless you're some crazy fast learner. I'm not. Sometimes I got to learn the hard way too. Talk about commitment. So, if you find those things that are your challenges or your struggles, you got to admit to yourself that is your challenge and your struggle one, and then also, commit to finding a solution to it. And, not just say it, not just talk about it, but literally put in the energy, the work, week after week, month after month, year after year, and hopefully you get better. So that's super general things. It's kind of more mindset based, or setting you up for maybe success in dealing with this kind of anxiety or buck fever situations. And this next section, I want to talk about some tips, just some tips or techniques that I have used in the past that I've learned from my competitive shooting career as well, with what works for me. And again, everybody's mind is different. How everybody does things is different. So I can only speak from my own experience here, but I want to share that with you guys. And you know, this is going to be pretty high level. I can go pretty deep into the weeds on some of these techniques. So I'm just going to keep it high level here. And if you guys want to hear more about it, you know, put it in the comments below, send me a message on social media, whatever that is, and we'll get into it. Actually, let me rewind a little bit. Before I cover the tips, the techniques, or the things to try to do, I want to cover maybe a little bit of psychology behind some things, and then maybe why you're freaking out. So if you don't understand like what's happening to yourself in the moment of truth, or why you're missing, it's very hard to address the problem if you don't really know where the problem's coming from, or what, you know, what the root cause is. And for a lot of people, and just for me, I think it can be boiled down into these two parts of the mind, so to speak. And this is an idea that may help you. So, you know, if you study psychology books or whatever, and I'm no psychologist, by the way, but just my own experience and reading other things in my own competition career, there's two parts to the mind, right? There's the conscious mind and there's the subconscious mind. The conscious mind are your conscious thoughts. You know, like me, I'm thinking about what I'm going to say next into this camera. I'm thinking about, you know, what I'm going to talk about in the subconscious next. So those are your conscious thoughts. And I think it's very proven. Some people say they can multitask and think of all these things at once. But the real truth is, and I think it's scientifically and clinically proven, or whatever you want to call it, is that the conscious mind can only think of one task at a time. Now it can bounce around very quickly, but it can literally only process one thought at a time. So keep that in mind. The next thing I want to talk about is the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is a little more powerful. That's the part of your mind that controls all the things that you're not thinking about. So when I'm talking, I'm moving my hands and all these things. Now I just thought about it, but when I'm normally talking, I'm not even thinking about it. Those are things that just happen naturally. Breathing, you know, I'm talking away here, but I don't have to consciously think I need to take a breath to keep talking. It just kind of happens all by itself. So the subconscious mind is very, very powerful. And, you know, if you compete at a high level in anything, people try to really get as much things as you can into that subconscious mind. But what it takes is a lot of practice, thinking about it till you can put these things into like an automatic mode where you don't have to think about them anymore. So just keep that in mind when I talk about the next step, which is the one of the techniques I want to talk about. Okay, so one of the first techniques I want to talk about is pretty cliche. You probably hear it on all the videos or whatever, and it's having a shot sequence, having a sequence of events that you take before you take that shot. For this instance, if it's archery, you know, animals coming in, I set my grip hand, I make sure my sight is set, maybe set the bow hand, you know, the release hand, you know, I might draw back. In this case, I got a hinge with a click. Might draw back, find my click, and then continue to execute my shot. Those step-by-step method is what someone would consider perhaps a shot sequence. And when you're consciously, remember I talked about the conscious and the subconscious mind? If you're consciously thinking about all those steps in the moment of truth, it's very hard for the mind to bounce back to something else, like, oh my God, I'm afraid I'm going to miss. Like, oh my God, this is a big ram, or this is a big buck, or whatever it is. So as long as you can try to put your conscious mind into the things that you need to be doing instead, like the shot process, all of that, hopefully it can kind of quell down the negative thoughts that can cause you to miss. And it'll just have you focusing on the right things that you need to be focusing on, you know, not how much that taxidermy bill is going to be, or, you know, oh, wouldn't it be great if I can make this shot right here. You're not worried about the outcome and all those things. You're kind of worried about the process there. Now, that's very high level explanation of that. I can get deeper into it, but that one is, you know, pretty cliche. Everyone can say that, but we'll get into a few others here in a little bit. Okay, another technique are mental and physical cues. Now, this is very related to the shot sequence that I just was talking about. You know, the actions that you're going to take to execute the action that you want to execute without worrying about freaking out about it. So when I say mental and physical cues, what you can do is, if you think back again, conscious, subconscious mind, if the conscious mind can only think of one thing at a time, you want to really kind of control what that one thought is. So say, you know, I'll use an example for me. This is a good one. Say I got a big Billy Ibex walking in, right? If you guys follow me, I'm obsessed about Ibex. But say I got a big one. It's walking in, you know, I'm getting all ready. I might get a moment of buck fever. Oh my God, you know, you get the shakes, maybe your hands get sweaty, your breathing starts getting shallower or faster, and you haven't physically exerted anything, you know, you start freaking out. Number one, you got to do is really identify. Like, if you have a ton of experience being in this situation, you're going to quickly identify, okay, this is not a physical or mental state I can be in to be the best that I need to be to perform. So you have to identify that one. And the second thing is you need to stop. But sometimes it's very hard to stop the mind from racing over and over. So if you go back and you think about conscious, subconscious, how I said the conscious mind can only think of one thing at a time, sometimes a good way to stop the mental mind from freaking out or thinking about all these things is to bring it into something, some kind of cue. And this is something I did in college rifle shooting, and I'm beginning to employ more in my archery endeavors competitively as well. But in college rifle, I shot small bore 22, and you know, I had a bolt on the rifle. It was a bolt action rifle, and I would literally focus on closing the bolt. That was kind of my action or my cue. And I'm not just saying focus on closing it. No, I'm saying like literally I would look at all of the dimples in the bolt handle. I would follow the cartridge up into the chamber as the bolt closes. I would feel and hear the sound of that bolt closing. And that me paying attention to all of those little cues, all those things, puts me into a mental box of, okay, I'm thinking about all this. This is what I'm doing right here. And it really would quell my mind about the, oh my God, I need to make this last shot for a clean score on offhand shooting or standing or something like that in those moments of pressure. So what I'm saying is taking the mind away from all the negative things that could be all around you and really hyper focusing it on something here. So if I'm going to use bow hunting as the example, you know, for this video, it might be, you know, when you're getting ready to shoot, you range the target, you still might be freaking out. You might want to take a moment to stop. In all these things, there's going to be something common in that. There's going to be the stop, a physical stop. Yes, you know, you won't be able to rush a shot. Maybe you'll miss some shots like that, you know, just in time-wise. But what's better? You know, me, I'd rather make shots that I had go my way mentally. I was calm, everything. I don't like making rush shots. When I make rush shots that I don't know what I was doing, I feel dirty. Like I feel like I didn't do my process correctly. And hopefully, you know, if you're committed to really conquering these demons, you're not going to let yourself go into that autopilot mode, you know. So for this instance, I'll use maybe the hinge, for example. I will hyper focus. Okay, everything's ranged, boom, 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 animal's there. Take my mind away from the animal, just a quick one, and I will hyper focus on setting this hook on this on the release here, and observe all of the little knits and the little weaves in my D loop right there, and just, okay, I got that. And then you look at the target and then you go. Sometimes just that little stop can change the whole course of a train wreck about to happen. So another thing that I use in my bow hunting archery is I'm shooting a hinge with a click now, and you know, when I'm at full draw, sometimes even focusing on that can, as you get to full draw, now the demons can come back like, oh my God, I gotta make this shot, I gotta make this shot. So the click and the release for me is like another physical cue that helps me mentally. So, oh, I gotta make the shot, I gotta make the shot. But then it's like, okay, no, I have to stop, find my click, and it calms me down. It makes me stop one more time. Now, of course, you know, I don't go into quick snap shooting or animals running around, you know. if you live in Hawaii, some of our public hunting areas are super crowded, animals running everywhere and people shooting fast and sending arrows everywhere. Again, like I said, if that's the kind of hunting that you're worried about, then, you know, I'm gonna say that maybe you're not as committed mentally to really conquering yourself in doing everything in a methodical, correct way. And going back to what I said about conscious and subconscious, if you do these steps over and over enough times, they become automatic. Like you don't have to think about them. And when you don't have to think about them, that's when you're putting them into the subconscious. You know, some of the things that are subconscious, maybe for someone starting out with a release like this, you know, is a hinge is hard to manipulate, right? You got to set the hook sometimes, you know, if you're new to it. So you know, resetting the hook. That's very subconscious. But when you first started, you probably had to look at it, you fumbled around with it a bit. So, you know, that's a good example of it. So some of these steps, when you get in a pressure situation, you'd be like, oh no, okay, time for the shot. Okay, focus on my hook, get my hook set. Okay, we're all good. Wow, nice D-loop. Look at all the little nits in it. Looks perfect. Draw back. Oh my God, I gotta make the shot. Okay, no. I gotta get to my click. Okay, calm down, get to my click, click. So those things calm me down for the shot. Hopefully that might be something that works for you. Or you can find your own method. You know, you can find something like, I'll focus on the bubble, or I gotta pick what pin I gotta use, or whatever it is, just the thing that makes you stop and focus on what you need to focus on. Because I would say, in my experience, 99% of my big screw ups hunting shots or in pressure shots have been when I rushed it, when I let the mind just do whatever it wants to do, get the arrow off quick or whatever it is, and I didn't stick to the process. And if you're committed, again, those moments where you didn't stick to the process, but maybe you succeeded or maybe you failed, whatever it is, truly you failed, because you know there was a process, I didn't stick to it, my mind wandered. It's kind of just a luck shot after that. So when I say commitment, definitely you got to commit to doing it like that all the time and as many times as you can. It's not perfect. I still send some shots a little fast and I'm like, wow, I really wasn't thinking there. But whatever it is, that's kind of the explanation just for that technique. Okay, one of the last techniques left, physical technique, is to fake yawn. Like this, just literally, just to yawn. Now, if you're a competitive rifle shooter and you've read a lot of Lanny Basham books, you know, with winning in mind, I believe is where I read this, was the fake yawning technique. So sometimes all the stuff I talked about earlier was the mental, your thoughts controlling the physical, right? But what about, can we go, I'm a believer that you can go the other way around too. Sometimes your body just physically does something without you thinking about it, right? Like you're freaking out or whatever it is, and you're not thinking about freaking out, but these things are happening. So can we go backwards perhaps? One of the ways to go backwards, and some other professionals talk about this a lot too, is just literally fake yawning. So if you fake yawn physically, it can kind of force the mind to come at ease a little bit and just try it. You know, and you might actually see it, you know, in a high level competition, rifle or archery, you see these guys standing on the line and just, they just yawn. But the yawn is usually also accompanied with a bunch of other physical attributes as well. And I don't know if you noticed it while you were watching the video, but when I yawn, the shoulders relax down. And if you're really paying attention, like I said about the experience part, getting a ton of experience, when you get in a pressure situation or you're shaking, you got the buck fever, if you can stop and think, well, what's going on in my body right now? You can feel this tension in the shoulders sometimes, where the shoulders want to creep up or they get tight and stiff, you know, and this is not how you shoot at home, right? All tight and stiff. You shoot very relaxed, very calm. So if you can physically make yourself do that, you know, yawn, relax the mind, think about sinking the shoulders, maybe even breathing from the stomach, a deep breathing technique. It's hard to explain, you know, people who breathe from their chest versus breathing from their stomach. I can get deeper into that, a deep breathing technique. But one of the best ways to do that is literally is inhaling and exhaling through your nose, not through the mouth. So kind of expanding your stomach, not your chest, but your stomach, and exhaling through your nose, relaxing the shoulders, everything, calming yourself down for the shot. Now, if you practice at home all nervous and tight, well, then I guess that's how you should shoot in the field. But I'm going to bet at least 90% or most people practice very calmly at home. And it's when they're tense out in the field or in competition or in a pressure situation, that tense and that the physical tenseness and everything changes their form, changes their timing. And that's what causes them, you know, to make their errors. So that's the video, guys. Thank you for watching this long and sticking with it. It's a little bit longer video, but tackling buck fever probably takes a long time. I've had it my whole life, still get a little bit of it now and then, and still gonna be working at it myself. I ain't perfect. Also, hopefully the intro to the video wasn't too cheesy. I was just kind of playing around with some editing stuff and some color grading. Maybe it was useful, maybe it was not. But anyway, hopefully the content in the video gave you just a little bit of things to try, maybe play with. Those are some things in my own experience that have kind of worked for me. Of course, there are a lot of others, but those have been the more impactful ones. So anyway, thank you for watching again this far. Try to come up with more content along the way, just working at it and chipping at it away here and there. And again, thank you. Catch you guys in the next one. Aloha. Bye-bye.